med att det är dags att börja titta emot InnoDex igen, och jag säger välkommen in till Sasha. Sasha, välkommen in här. Du kan ta plats här. Och Sasha, a warm welcome to you again.
Yeah,
to
thank
this
you.
stage. And now you will take my job and take it away from there. So I say, go ahead, Sasha.
Yeah, imagine a world where we don't have plastics anymore, where the materials we're using are based on renewable resources and fits perfectly to the biological circle. Our next speaker is working on technologicals for this. He is the CEO of Swiss Wood Solutions from Zurich, and he invented a technology to densify wood in a way that it could replace plastics and metals. So welcome, Christian Lehringer. Thanks for having us, and you brought a presentation with us to present your technology and the possible applications.
Hello, Sasha. Thank you very much for introducing me. Just a short sound check. Can I be heard clearly?
Yeah.
Good, nice. So, welcome to our presentation. I am delighted to have been announced as the CEO. However, I'm not the CEO, but I'm the CPO, which is taking care of the product management. I joined this company about half a year ago, and I'm responsible for organizing the broad portfolio of really interesting products, which during the next 15 to 20 minutes, I'm going to present to you, Sasha, and to the audience in Schönköpen. So really warm and nice regards here from the sunny Switzerland base close to Zurich, our headquarters. And I would like to start the presentation. So please, the next slide. I'm going to show you 3 challenges which we take as the main motivation for our company. First of all, the scourge of plastic pollutions. As you can see, and as most of you most likely know, most of the plastic is not being recycled, even though we do huge efforts in collecting and separating plastics. But most of the plastic still ends up in landfills or is simply burned, which we consider is not acceptable, and we try to replace plastic in everyday items at the source of origin. So no ocean plastic, no compromises here, simply the avoidance of plastic is our main goal. Next slide, please. The second challenge is the protection of endangered wood species or of endangered ecological systems. So the tropical forests are under high pressure. They have been under high pressure always over decades. And we are thinking that it is not necessary to harvest the wood in these sensitive and valuable regions anymore. We can replace the tropical hardwoods with their properties by material that has been processed through our processes and which is originating from the European forests in the end. Next slide, please. Those forests abundantly growing in the mid-European regions and providing a lot of wood species which already in the originate state have a really high material properties. The idea is to motivate the forest owners to transform the forests into a more sustainable and into a more stable ecosystems, so that also with the impact of the climate crisis during the next decades, there will be sufficient wood in the forests. We are not saying the forests have to be protected and not have to be used anymore, but we say if the forests are used in a sustainably managed way, with a good supply chain and a good management over the decades, it can be a real nice motivation to produce not only boards, not only simple wood, but really like brands, products from the wood that can be marketed accordingly from the European sources. How do we do that? With our values, which are going beyond. First of all, sustainability. We have the ambition to not use any material which is not compostable, which is not synthetic, which is not biodegradable in the end. We really want to go the whole long way to have a material which is really biodegradable. We are applying high technology efforts. Our systems, our technologies are known for their Swiss precision and Swiss invention, and we use high quality materials in the end to achieve high quality products, which are exclusive. Not only the wood material itself, due to its fine structure and due to its natural variability, is exclusive, but also the products we deliver are exclusive, because in quality and optical appearance, there's hardly a competitor that is able to do something similar. And of course, the regional, the domestic impact. We have the ambition to really use the material, the woods, the forest, which is just growing next slope here in this beautiful Swiss mountains. Not only for that reason, we already have achieved the label of Schweizer Holz, which has been granted just 4 weeks ago. And we are also going for further forest labels, which are under application in the moment, for example, FSC and PEFC, to really ensure a sustainable wood supply for our products. Next slide, please. This is just the first overview. I'm going to go into the details of our broad product portfolio. From left to right, you see a little bit of our company history, which has been extending almost 5 years now. It started with producing solid wood products, mainly for the music industry. We call this product brand line Sono Wood. Further on, the same material can be used to make like wooden swords, which is not only made for children, but it's really for mixed arterial material arts fighting, which I'm going to show you later. Beech wood is also a solid wood product, which however is really featuring excellent properties visually and really from the aesthetical point of view, outstanding material characteristics to be used in jewelry, in clocks, in cameras, and so on. The modification not only of solid wood was worked on, but also the modification of veneers. So taking our processes and making veneers in a process to be shown, we can give really nice features to it, which makes the material interesting for interior design, for car interiors, as the material is not only translucent, but it's also touch sensitive. And then in the last step, and this has been our very recent development, the Swiss wood cards. So taking the veneers and rebonding them in several layers, including the known and established chip technology, we provide materials which are really a good replacement for PVC plastic cards. Let me take you into the details. The technology is something which hasn't been newly invented by us, of course. So if you want to say the wood densification has been a pretty old hat, has been done for decades already. But we were able to really go into the nitty-gritty details of process optimization and to take the wood, in some cases, to add a bio-based reagent, and then to undertake the wood through a thermo-hydro-mechanical treatment, which means a lot of temperature, moisture, and high forces, high pressure. So in the end, we achieve a product which is densified by the factor of 2 to 3 from the original density, ending up always in a real density of the material of about 1,400 kilogram per cubic meter. On the right-hand side, you see like this block afterward and before. Of course, there's a slight color change, which, however, is appreciated. Our customers, as it gives the material a really nice caramel to dark brown stain, which is going through, which is a homogeneous stain, and which really elevates the optical appearance of the material. Next slide, please. So would you imagine that the piece of wood here exposed on my left hand is not ebony? Yes, you're right. It's not ebony. This is beech wood, which we have been developing in order to replace ebony in music instruments. So with this material, you can really have controlled properties, tailored acoustics, which are at least at the level or even superior to native ebony. Of course, it's a sustainable and high value alternative to this product. You don't have long transport distance, you don't have to cut down the forest, and you have a long-term availability. It is no argues at the customs about the material, as simply no CETAS restrictions apply to your wood and to your music instrument. Next slide, please. As mentioned before, the wooden swords, which is quite a big fashion, not only in Asia but also in North America, to do this can-do fighting. Here, two really nicely protected fighters hit each other with high forces and high speed, so the swords really have to survive hard sword-on-sword blows without any damage. And also, due to the high weight of the swords, of the wood swords, the fighter has the impression that he is holding a real metal sword in his hands. So this is, due to the velocity and also to the impact, a really nice replacement for material which usually would be taken from very heavy duty hardwood species out of the tropics. So another example for a really nice replacement which is showing a really high demand. Now we are going to go into the real fine details. In the exhibition, we have presented this, or we are currently presenting this watch. So step closer, take a real good look at the details of this watch. The wheel that you can see here in the watch has a diameter of only 8 millimeters, which is really just that little bit. But the clockworkers were able to really design and to machine the material to such high and fine quality that it can replace a little wheel made of steel in this wood. Here you see the mechanical properties again. It is very dimension stable and is scratch and abrasion resistant, which, next slide please, qualifies it, for example, also for this kind of applications. And one thing which I didn't write here, but I can explain to you, even though the material is highly dense and the surface is really closed pore, so there's no open pores anymore, but it's still wood. So especially in this application and also in the violin application, it's important that the material is still able to absorb the sweat of the hand. So imagine yourself holding this camera over hours in a warm, hot environment. You need something which is not slipping through your hands. So this material, as it is not plastic, but wood, still is a very favorable behavior on this requirement. Coming to the next product, which is sensor veneer. The sensor veneer is translucent and touch sensitive, which you can see as an impression here in these two videos. Please click again to start the second video as well. So on the left hand side, you see the translucency, which is really nice, really homogeneous. So you can show a wooden surface, which if you put a backlighting to it, upon switching on this light, you will see through the wood surface some structures, of course, not as clear as through glass, but this is exactly the intention. So imagine yourself sitting down in a very modern new electric car. You have a wood interior, which is really looking nicely, beautiful, like a furniture. Once you touch the surface of this car interior, it will switch on and you can control the temperature or the sound of your music or switch gears or whatever. And upon a short time, it will go back to the natural wood appearance. So this is a real nice product which we are trying to promote into the interior design and into the car industry at the moment. Next slide, please. There is a big variability, so I'm showing this slide as the first slide for the variability. So the different wood species in their natural appearance, of course, have different stains, different colors, different structures, and they get even more pronounced when we bring the material through our processes. So up you see the front lightning, and at the bottom line you see the back lightning, giving a different appearance. Next slide. And which works with the natural wood colors, of course, works with stained veneers. So staining the veneers before bringing them through our process gives the opportunity to play with colors and to make it a real nice, innovative material for the interior design. Next slide, please. Coming to the cards. As mentioned, they are plastic free. So we really have the ambition not only to use biodegradable materials from the wood and from the inlay technology, but also to use adhesives, which are biodegradable. So that in the end, when the card is not being used anymore and is not recycled, there's no worries about having the material in the environment for the next 400 years. It simply will decay through the natural biological processes. And as mentioned before, the material we use is certified, coming from domestic and sustainable sources from certified suppliers. Next slide, please. When you look at the very common and very usual end-of-life scenarios, it's always a linear process. A product is being produced and is coming to an end of life and is disposed. In the very, very few cases, you really have a circular economy approach. So we have the idea together with our partners to develop a system where we really try to bring the cycle idea into the products, so that not only the wood parts can be reused over and over again, but also the metal parts. And this is of course a challenge, so we have to calculate this in. So how to not only bond the material, but how also to debond the material, and also how to collect the cards. Because at the moment, it is like this. You have your plastic card, it expires, you cut it in order to save the data or to destroy the data in the chip, and then you dispose your card somewhere in the rubbish, and it has vanished. You don't know where it stays. So we have the idea of different approaches, which we will present when they are ready planned. As we have wood cards, we have a double effect of carbon footprint reduction. So first of all, the wood itself safeguards carbon dioxide. When the tree is growing, it just grabs the carbon dioxide from the air and bounds it into the wood. So it is stored in the card during the use. And the second one is the replacement effect, the avoidance of plastic, which I previously mentioned. So for example, if you would go and replace one plastic card in your purse with our wood card, you would save 20 grams of carbon dioxide. And imagine this number by an annual production of 37 billion cards worldwide per year. 37 billion cards a year. So this is quite a lot, and we are really fighting to replace a lot of these cards. Next slide, please. Of course, it is fully digital. We can provide all the digital functions which you know from the plastic cards. And also certification is ongoing, especially for the payment sector. We are working on the PCI certification waivers according to ISO and EMVAO standards. Next slide, please. They are aesthetically unique. Natural wood texture, different colors, smooth or rough, different colors. And from what we know, the product has been not in the market, but in our use for 2 years yet. They are long life, so you can use them for even more than 2 years, And we are also working, of course, on the qualification of this long life and extending the lifespan of the products. So, who is behind that magic? It's us. We are an operational team of 10 persons out of our hub here in Switzerland, close to Zurich. We are a spin-off of the ETH EMPA, however, have been standing now on our feet already for 5 years. We are going to found a new company, which will be the Swiss Cards AG, so focusing on the last presented product portfolio. And as you can see, we are a young team, a highly motivated team, a very, I would say, also experienced team. And we are really ambitious to extend the ideas we have. And we would be really happy to have your feedback. So in the next slide, you can see the contact details of ourselves. So be our guest, be welcome to contact us in case you have specific ideas in which our products can help you to make your customers even more satisfied and to contribute to defeating the climate crisis. Thank you very much for your attention and enjoy the fair in Jönköping. Ha det bra.
Yeah, thank you, Christian, for this very, very interesting presentation. And I would love to invite you all to come to our exhibition. We have the 5 products that Christian have shown in our exhibition, and you can see the gear in the watch. You can test the display and have the sword in your hand. Very interesting. So thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you very much.